right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Balmy breeze. More record highs will fall across the bi-state region Tuesday, but it's a quick reality check by Wednesday, where thunderstorms may develop before the colder air moves in.
A school bus driver sick out leaves St. Louis City parents scrambling. Tonight, 2 workers come forward with claims of racial attacks inside the bus barn. First tonight, held captive inside a church.
Unfathomable. I cannot believe that happened so close to my home.
One woman's claim a South City sanctuary was her torture chamber. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson is off tonight. Tonight, 3 men are behind bars. The woman told police they kidnapped her, held her against her will, and beat her. Our Robert Townsend went to the South City neighborhood near Marceau Street and Minnesota Avenue tonight to try and find out more about this disturbing case. Robert.
Mike, people I talked to have mixed reactions to the alleged torture one woman says she experienced at Mount of Olives Ministry. Mount of Olives Ministry sits on a hill behind this sprawling white fence near Marceau and Minnesota in South St. Louis. Neighbors say the church has been here for the past 3 years. It's behind this neighbor's home.
They were actually in services yesterday. I heard the sound and the kids outside playing, so it didn't seem as if anything was out of the ordinary.
Last Wednesday, police say they went to the church and made a disturbing discovery. Officers say they responded to a woman's call for help around 1:30 that morning. According to a probable cause statement, the woman was tied up with rope and bleeding from her head.
That is unfathomable. My heart aches for her.
I think it's horrible.
The woman told officers she was held against her will inside a room at the church. Court papers reveal police found a bottle of water and a bucket filled with feces and urine.
Had I known anything, seen anything, I probably, of course, would have said something and kind of like helped her.
The neighbor says several police officers were parked down the street from the church on Friday night.
Not sure what they were doing, but they were here for an extended period of time.
The woman identified these 3 men as her captors. The suspects are each charged with 2nd-degree kidnapping and 3rd-degree assault. Neighbors believe people do live at the church. When we stopped by, no one answered the door.
They're not coming to the door. They're always there. That's why I said this is odd.
I just hope that she makes a full recovery and that she's able to really get some justice.
Police did not say how long or why the woman was held captive. Now, I also called the number for the pastor that was posted on a sign outside the church, but as of now, I have not heard from her.
A mild February night across St. Louis. We hit a record high of 80 degrees today, and it's going to be even warmer tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking the record warmth and the chances of spring-like storms in his Weather First forecast.
I think we're pretty sold on the record happening tomorrow and being broken. 79 is our record high for the day. And we're thinking about 83, 84 in St. Louis. At this moment, we are still in the 60s around St. Louis. We do have some high clouds that are rolling in, but it's relatively quiet across the area at this hour. Temperatures have dropped slowly through the 60s tonight. We still have a bit of a breeze, and there are a few isolated showers developing now as those clouds increase back here over parts of the Ozarks. Not impressive on radar now and not likely to become impressive overnight, but along and south of Interstate 70, the potential certainly there through the overnight hours as this little disturbance slides on to the east, where we could get a brief thunder shower or thunderstorm, but most of us are not going to get rain out of that. And to be honest, most of us aren't going to get rain out of that cold front passage when it happens tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, even though it's an intense storm and it has warmth to work with. 84 for the high tomorrow in St. Louis. So just a slight chance that we'll see a storm, and then it's a cold wind as we head into Wednesday. We'll track all the changes for you coming up in just a few minutes, Mike.
And remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We'll send it straight to your phone. Tonight, a man is dead in Jefferson County after deputies shot him while serving a warrant. It happened at a mobile home park on Montauk Drive near Festus. According to the sheriff's office, deputies were trying to serve an arrest warrant on Anthony Stratman Jr. He was accused of making terroristic threats against judges. Investigators say he grabbed a hammer and refused orders to drop it. Deputies tried to tase him first before opening fire. Stratman later died at the hospital. None of the deputies, we're told, were hurt. Tonight, 2 people are in jail after a police chase that ended near Busch Stadium. Police used spike strips to stop the car before it hit a Tesla at 8th and Clark. Officers say the people inside the stolen car threw 2 guns out the window on I-64 near Jefferson. It's not clear at this hour if anyone was hurt. Tonight, ongoing issues for St. Louis public school officials and families after dozens of drivers called in sick today to the Missouri Central Bus Company. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer has new details on how these calls will be a problem again tomorrow. Diamond.
Well, Mike, the drivers at Missouri Central Bus Company say they called in solidarity with their coworkers, the mechanics. And the mechanics say this is all because of alleged racial discrimination. St. Louis Public Schools replying and saying they're, quote, caught in the middle of an ugly dispute.
These type of gestures and props are just a message for what is to come.
Mitchell is a mechanic at Missouri Central Bus Company who says he's endured racial slurs and harassment day in and day out since starting 2 months ago. He says he's reported it to his job's HR, and he says after that is when a noose was left in his work bay.
Nobody came up to me to apologize about that. I found a noose. Nobody came to acknowledge that for how hurt I am, how much pain, or how traumatized I am.
On Monday, dozens of bus drivers called in sick, forcing the district to make other arrangements. Parents like Michelle Morgan had to pick up her son Monday because of the disruptions to the bus service.
It sucks.
Imeen's coworker spoke to 5 on Your Side anonymously, saying this is just one example of the alleged racial discrimination.
And I've been in the industry for years, and seeing the news is nothing to me of the things that I've seen and the things I've heard.
Missouri Central responded in a statement by saying in part, there is zero tolerance for any behavior that violates policy. As such, we are hiring an independent third party this week to investigate these allegations. The bus company's employees say the allegations even include being left out of job promotions, which they believe is because of their race. The district spokesperson says it's unclear if the bus walkout will be resolved, and they said it can't guarantee bus rides to or from school for Tuesday, but after-school programs would run as normal, and athletics on a case-by-case basis for each school. The district goes on to apologize for the inconvenience.
Wherever you go, it's always going to be race somewhere. So you just have to know how to deal with it and just ignore it and just keep it pushing.
Now, Imeen says he's giving Missouri Central 2 weeks to investigate his and his coworkers' alleged discrimination. He says if not, that's when he's willing to take it to the NAACP. Reporting live in St. Louis, Diamond Palmer, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, the Lindbergh School District is firing back at a cease and desist letter it received from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. The letter claims the district uses race-based criteria for students who want to get into the gifted program. In a statement, district officials say, quote, we are deeply disappointed that he did not reach out to us first to obtain accurate information before posturing on social media with a statement that is not grounded in facts. Bailey also sent a letter to Parkway schools accusing the district of preventing students from forming religious-based clubs. And he accuses Webster Groves of breaking state and federal law in its hiring practices. You can read the full responses from Parkway, Lindbergh, and Webster Groves on KSDK.com. Over the last decade, 180 Missouri school districts have switched to a 4-day schedule. Tonight, Fox C6 in Jefferson County asked parents for their thoughts on making that switch. 5 on Your Side's Holden Kerwicki has more on the story from Arnold.
Tonight, Fox C6 School District held the first of 3 listening sessions to weigh the pros and cons of moving the district to a 4-day school week over what they're calling budgetary concerns.
Fox has not had an operating levy increase in approximately 20 years.
We've lost about 800 students over the last 10 years, and we're projected to continue to lose between 500 and 800 students over the next 10 years. In addition, the COVID funding is going away.
According to Fox Superintendent Dr. Paul Fregeau, switching to a 4-day school week would save the district somewhere between $2.5 and $3.2 million per year. As for where those savings would come from,
mileage on your vehicles, the diesel you use, wear and tear on your buses, it's 20% less. Fewer subs, fewer absences. PD time, as he mentioned, can be on Monday, so we're not pulling people out of class.
Though it's unclear what a 4-day schedule would look like at Fox, district leaders say students would receive the same amount of instructional time as they do under the current 5-day model.
If they're talking longer days, it's hard to keep their attention enough as it is.
That's just one of the many concerns we heard from parents.
A lot of people that I know would have difficulty with childcare.
If we've learned one thing from the pandemic, it's that butts in seats matter, and that our children need to be in school 5 days to maximize their academic achievement.
If they choose to go a longer school year, that might work, or year round.
If you weren't able to make it to tonight's listening session, Fox C6 has 2 more scheduled, the next of which is being held on March 6th, right here at the Fox Service Center off of Jeffco Boulevard. Reporting in Arnold, Holden Krawicki, 5 on your side.
Tonight, loved ones gathered in Midtown at the scene of a horrific crash that claimed 4 young lives 1 year ago. 4 others were hurt in the hit-and-run crash. The anniversary comes just days after Cedric Dixon was sentenced to 10 years in prison as part of a plea deal. Courtney McKinley was injured in the crash. His brother was killed, and he wants a harsher sentence.
10 years not enough. He can get back out and see his mama in the next couple years, man. My brother can't never come see my mama or me.
Dixon's attorney says he's remorseful and offered to take the maximum sentence. Just hours ago, St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones outlined her Economic Justice Action Plan to the St. Louis Reparations Commission. The plan targets funding for underserved in areas in North St. Louis and parts of South St. Louis.
In my eyes, the Economic Justice Action Plan is rooted in the need for restorative justice in our communities. And this plan is being touted in other cities as an example of a roadmap to use for reversing the harms of the past.
Mayor Jones formed the St. Louis Reparations Commission by executive order back in December of 2022.
He was the Blues' tough man on the ice. Now he's fighting a tough battle.
I fought my whole life for people, for other people.
Tonight, Kelly Chase opens up about his fight against cancer and his all-star support system. It's a popular feature for drivers, especially in treacherous weather.
Living in Missouri, you can get all of the seasons at once.
Tonight, the benefits of all-wheel drive and whether it's an upgrade you really need.
A strong cold front is motoring towards us when it moves through and the drastic changes that come behind it.
Students at the University of Georgia gathered today to remember Laken Riley. The 22-year-old nursing student was killed on campus last week. Investigators believe her murder was random. The suspect is a Venezuela native with a violent criminal history who was in the United States illegally. The crime has led to a political firestorm over border security. Republicans, like Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, is urging President Biden to close the southern border.
This is what we have feared would happen, because we have 8.5 million people that have come in our country illegally. And then we have these people that are here illegally breaking our laws, and nobody's telling us who they are.
President Biden plans to make a rare visit to the southern border on Thursday. That's where he will push House Republicans to pass the Senate's bipartisan border security agreement. Former President Trump will visit the border the same day. Tonight, President Biden said he hopes to have a ceasefire deal to pause the Israel-Hamas war by next week. This would allow for the remaining hostages held by Hamas to be released.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
President Biden made those comments in New York City while getting ice cream with NBC late-night host Seth Meyers. The president will be Meyers' guest tonight. You can watch it at 11:35 right here on 5 on Your Side. More than half of new cars come with all-wheel drive. Even compact hybrids like the Toyota Prius can come equipped. However, drivers beware. Tonight, Consumer Reports explains not all all-wheel drive vehicles are the same, and you might not even need it.
Carly Stevenson recently bought this 2018 Mazda CX-5 for her growing family.
I don't want quite as much room as an SUV, but I needed something bigger than a car.
She says all-wheel drive was a must.
Living in Missouri, you can get all of the seasons at once.
If you want all-wheel drive for that sense of security,
Safety and peace of mind.
Consumer Reports says you should know not all vehicles with all-wheel drive are the same. For example, Subaru's AWD system always directs at least some of the engine's power to the rear, and it can direct a larger amount if needed. That's not the case for every AWD.
There are other kind of more cost-effective ways or different ways of doing this where maybe the car is primarily driven as, front-wheel drive. The front wheels are getting most of the power all the time, and then only in certain situations will it send power to the rear wheels.
Yes, there are more AWD cars on the road nowadays. Thanks to technology, this transfer of power happens with a mechanical drive shaft running the length of the car. But electric vehicles and some hybrids utilize individual motors at each axle with no physical connection between them.
These systems just allow all-wheel drive to almost be implemented easier in a vehicle. With a hybrid vehicle, like from Toyota, for example, they take an electric motor and they just put it at the rear, and that's what's giving you all-wheel drive. So they really don't have to change much from the regular car to enable all-wheel drive.
By the way, all passenger vehicles sold in the U.S. starting with the 2012 model year come equipped with electronic stability control, which along with traction control significantly improves road holding capabilities regardless of the drive wheels. So who really needs AWD?
It's people who really live in snowy areas, who see a lot of slippery road conditions, or they live at the bottom of a steep driveway that is often wet or snowy or covered in ice.
And remember, all-wheel drive is not a replacement for good tires. Despite the extra power, poor tires can still struggle to provide enough grip on slippery roads. A special birthday celebration today for a World War II veteran at Hampton Manor of Wentzville. Gus Bank turned 99 today. Gus stormed the beach at Normandy and was awarded several medals for his service. Gus, by the way, is also a big Cardinals baseball fan. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the Weather First forecast. We're still a ways away from opening day for the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, but today would have been a great day to play baseball.
Today would have been a great day. Tomorrow looks like a pretty decent day, so get out and enjoy it while it's warm, and usually so. Looking out into St. Charles right now, dry roads. We have some high clouds rolling in. The chances for rain, they're there, but they're extremely low for very late tonight, and then again heading into tomorrow evening. Right now, still above 60 degrees in most places. Litchfield's 58. That's one of the coolest spots across the area. Winds are going to keep things up tonight. Plus, we have some clouds rolling in across the region. This is unusually warm for St. Louis. 64 right now. Our dew point is 54. That dew point may actually go down some tomorrow afternoon. That is a big key to our potential for severe weather here. 80 was our high today, breaking the record. 40 was our low this morning. We are off the charts above average. And again, overnight tonight, we're not dropping into the 40s. We're not even getting out of the 50s, and some of us may not get there at the rate we're going. Still 64 at Lambert as well as Columbia. Chicago is even 61 degrees right now. You see a few little spritzes out here across parts of mid-Missouri. Keeping our eyes on that. That's just one little disturbance that's sliding through. That comes ahead of the cold front, which is up farther to the north and west. That front will be diving southeast as we head into tomorrow. Along and ahead of that front is where there could be an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but probably we'll have to miss St. Louis. It'll slide south and east. These showers are growing back here over Lake of the Ozarks, that area. We'll track those to the east. If they hold together, some of us may hear a rumble of thunder, especially south of the Missouri River. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet overnight into tomorrow with variably cloudy skies, gusty breezes, quick warm up tomorrow. We're back into the low and mid 80s tomorrow afternoon with at least some sunshine through the clouds. There might be an isolated shower or thunderstorm as we head into the evening. But the focus really looks to be farther east and southeast of St. Louis, where we're not mixing down drier air from aloft. So even though that front comes through and it's a strong front, and behind it, especially north and west of St. Louis, there may even be a little bit of sleet or a few snowflakes in the wee hours Wednesday morning. There's not a big chance for severe weather with this system. There's not a big chance for rain in general. Back to 83 on those hourly temperatures tomorrow with a high of 84. Southern Missouri, southern Illinois, you have wind advisories starting tomorrow going into early Wednesday. Speaking of early Wednesday, wind chills in the teens to around 20 degrees. How's that for a rude awakening as we expect to see those temperatures really backing off here on Wednesday with a high around 41 degrees at best with the gusty winds. Again, at this point, we don't see a big chance for rain or intense thunderstorms later tonight or tomorrow evening. We'll keep monitoring it. Make sure you have the 5 on Your Side app and download it so you can stay up to date with that forecast.
And then warm again this weekend.
Yeah, and then by the weekend, we're back to 70 or better.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have Kelly Chase talking about his battle for his life. We have the Cardinals picking up a former All-Star, and we're playing hit and run with 2 City SC executives.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The Cardinals can't go into a season with an unproven 21-year-old shortstop with nobody proven or healthy behind Mason Wynn. That's why Brandon Crawford will be joining the team as early as tomorrow. 4 Gold Gloves, 3 All-Star games, 2 World Championships. He's 37, and he did hit under 200 last season. Tommy Edman, though, can't swing a bat for 2 weeks, so here's Brandon.
The way the Cardinals are going to try and use him, I think, is going to be important because you don't want to stunt the growth of Mason Wynn. Mason Wynn is your guy for the next perhaps 10 years plus. Brandon Crawford can come in and show him the ropes for sure, but also spell him along the way in the event if Mason Wynn has a slow leak and slows down his bat a little bit.
The Cardinals took on the Astros today in Jupiter. Ivan Herrera with a bullet to left. The game ended in a 1-1 tie. The pitching has been great for the Birds. Kelly Chase amassed over 2,000 penalty minutes in his NHL career. He was protecting his teammates. Now those teammates and many others are coming to his aid. He was diagnosed with leukemia in November. Kelly is in remission and fighting it like he always does. On April 5th at Centene, he's hosting Puck Cancer Night, the Blues alumni versus former NHL All-Stars. Everybody from Brett Hull to Ed Belfour will be on hand. Go to the Blues website for more information. I asked Kelly today about the inspiration he has from his family. You can see the entire interview on KSDK.com.
You really don't want to let people down. But at home, it's way up here. You know, so it's the first time I can honestly say I was saying it, but I didn't know if I could come through.
Full house at the O Arena in Oakville. Class 1A Super Sectional. The Rockets and Goreville, the defending champions, were on their game. Nice pass down low to Carolyn Tepe. They also feature Elena Krause, who dominated with 28 of Oakville's 55 points. The Rockets advance 55-26. We often play hit and run on Mondays with sports celebrities. I'd say Carolyn Kindle, the owner of City SC, and Diego Gigliani, the president of City SC, qualify. So let's play. One player to have a beer with on this team. Who do you choose?
Oh, Indy Vasilev.
Klaus, Jacques Klaus.
What player would you want protecting your family?
Ooh, Roman Berkey.
Protecting my family? Ooh, I'm gonna go with Sam Adeniran.
The most fascinating single thing about Lutz's fascinating past.
He died. He died.
He kidnapped a penguin.
Favorite place to eat in St. Louis? Gotta come up with one.
Olive and Oak.
There's so many good ones. I am going to go with Carl's Drive-In.
Carolyn actually tried to make the colors pink. How would you describe these colors, actually?
City Red. We call them City Red. We're very specific about our colors.
Good team, man, yes. True or false? You've never seen Bradley Carnell in a bad mood?
True.
One superstitious thing you may do before a game?
Oh, eat potato chips.
Really?
The only superstitious thing I do is to not make a score prediction.
Finally, what would it mean to you to win the MLS?
I know what it would mean for the city and for the ownership group and for the fans. and it would be amazing. So for all of them, I'd love to get to that point.
I think it's just would be so exciting, and a huge thank you to all the support we've gotten for the last 4 years. To be able to say that we're true champions in every professional sport in St. Louis, I think would just be a reason to celebrate.
Think about that. The 4 professional sports, because the St. Louis Hawks won the NBA, the Rams won the Super Bowl, we know about the Cardinals and the Blues.
Right.
If you had soccer, I don't know if there's many cities in the country that have got all 5.
Right, and really, this is only their second MLS season, so it's a lot to ask for right now, but who knows? They played so well last year.
Yeah.
Frank, thanks. The lineup for this year's Evolution Festival was announced today. The Killers and Beck will headline the 2-day festival. We'll tell you all about it next. Yeah, the Evolution Festival, that lineup was announced today. The Killers and Beck will headline the 2-day festival in Forest Park, and all 28 national, regional, and local acts will perform on 3 stages, September 28th and 29th. Early bird passes are now on sale for $110. General passes go on sale Wednesday morning at 10. And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Start your day with Today in St. Louis begins at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.